I want to top off my coffee.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Saturday morning edition of the Paranormal Weekend Coffee Talk. Yeah, we no longer use the brew in it. So, anyways, Coffee Talk works because that's what I'm doing. I'm drinking coffee and I'm talking. So, why not call it what it is? All right. Anyways, let's going to get through the disclaimers here. And yes, I got to fight YouTube again for the podcast last night. They tried to hit us up with another copyright strike. Boy, they seem to do that with every podcast that I put out on this channel. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing how much we got to fight for it. Anyways, that being said, the copyright disclaimer is a lot of good it does. This channel may use some copyrighted material without specific authorization of the owner, but contends that it falls under the fair use. YouTube, you got to start listening. Fair use. Nighthawk High Strains, this podcast channel, and all the podcasts on the channel declare fair use of any and all content, including the intro and outro music and videos, which I make. Per Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, for allowances such as for fair use as criticism, commentary, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, research, parody, and let's not forget the entertainment value. Per Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, otherwise known as the fair use. All right, YouTube, put that in your pipe and smoke it. All righty, let's see here. I'm going to even post it at the bottom of the screen on the ticker. Let's see here. There we go. That way they can't dispute it. And if I've got to go through it several times throughout the podcast, I will, by God. Anyways, I got our new dragon background in the background there. Looks like he's kind of going to take a chomp out of my ass. But I figured it was fitting for what we're talking about today, which is we're starting off the conversation about lake monsters. And Eric, you want to say hello to everybody and
Hola, ¿cómo estás? Morning, everybody. How's everybody doing this morning? I've been in the chat talking with Kyle and then. Yeah, that's a cool dragon. Is that the one I made? That ain't the one I made and sent to you, is it?
No, that's actually one I
Okay.
did.
Oh, okay. I remember making one, sending it to you. I couldn't remember. Hey, Candy. Hey, Jason. Hope everybody's trying to
Kyle,
stay warm
Amy,
this morning.
Kathy, Andy, Jason.
Kathy. Hey. I woke up this morning. My fire, when it was burning last night, apparently it fell the wrong way and burned out. So it's a little bit nipply in the Edie Testerman household today. Oh man. So I'm
TMI.
sitting here fighting that. Yeah. Hey, Roxy. It is,
Hey,
man. I
Roxanne. Hey,
woke up. I was
Ray.
like, I woke up this morning. I was like, damn, it's cold in here. I don't want to get out from under my covers and come in here and find out half my wood had burnt and the other half didn't. I was like, oh, I stacked it wrong. Like,
Sounds like you. Sounds like your wood was wet.
yeah, not in a good way either. Daggone it. Well, I loaded it. Oh, I think I loaded it around midnight last night, and I finally got to sleep around 03:30 this morning. And because I decided to take a me time last night, and after the show was playing me some Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I was like, I haven't played video games in a while, so I want to play some Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Indulge in my Viking urges. And the
The
next thing you know,
last
it's 3:30.
time, the last time I played a video game was probably in the 90s when they came in that little square thing that you shoved into the front of the device.
The NES, the NES, the NES. Yep.
Yeah. So since then I haven't done a damn thing with them. So, and I don't really care to because it's just another way to mind control people, program people. So
Yeah. Hey, Carl. Hey, Kevin. Hey, Carl. Yeah, it's
hey,
I
Carl.
love playing them.
Yep.
I mean, they're a great escape for me to be able to with my deals that goes on in my head. That's a great escape for me. So I just haven't had time to play them in so long. So it's like, man, I got that. I went through all that evidence, showed you that one that I caught on that first time using that laser grid.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, man, I've been busting my ass for 2 days straight on this. I said, yeah, we're having some me time tonight. That's what I did.
Me time with me anymore is just a cup of hot coffee and sitting on the couch with Jacob. that's the me time I get.
Heck yeah,
I just,
man.
hey, it's the little things in life that make you happy. So, and
Mm-hmm.
Jacob is,
Mm-hmm.
one of those things. So,
Oh yeah,
anyways,
I had Boar in my lap, I had Smokey in my lap, and I had Shadow in my lap. All three of them are sleeping, and I've got my little Viking blanket covering me up in my chair, and I'm just sitting there, like I can't move because I've got freaking animals piled on top of me.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's just the simple things that we forget, and maybe that's why we're supposed to go through this whole type of crap that we're going through nowadays. With the inflation and all that. You know, I was thinking, we went to the store this morning, real briefly, just the Dollar General, real close by, and we were walking around. Tracy and I were walking around in there, and I was looking at the stuff, and I'm watching people put like I don't know. I didn't like what I was seeing because I was watching people put things in their cart or in their basket that really didn't. Back in our days, well, at least in my days when I was a child, we had the get you through the month items that we used to have to buy, basically the food storage stuff, and then we canned what we didn't have the money to buy and all that. And we didn't buy luxury items. Okay, now to me, just hear me out, guys, before you try to crucify me. Okay, hear me out. Okay, to me, a luxury item is like snacks or cookies or cake or pie or the filet mignons that you see in the single packages for $20. I mean, that kind of stuff. That's luxury items. The necessity items would be like, yeah. I mean, I remember having to use newspaper for toilet paper. Okay.
Mhm.
That's how poor we were. All right.
Yep.
So, eh, to me, a luxury item is something other than generic, if you know what I mean. There's so many people putting stuff in their carts that it doesn't make any sense why they're buying it. You know, I
Mhm.
saw this one guy in there. He had a case of beer in one hand and he went up to the counter. He said, "Oh, I forgot something." He went back to the back, got napkins. Okay, came to the front, got a pack of cigarettes. Okay, so now he's got a case of beer, a pack of cigarettes, and napkins. What the hell is he going to do with that? Besides have a good time by himself. You know,
Yep.
to me, it's a luxury item. If you can't make it to drink it, then don't buy it. I mean, guys, that's what they made moonshine for. That's what they make
Mm.
stills for. You can make your own. You don't have to pay this outrageous bureaucratic red taped.
Heck yeah. Um, uh, I'm actually learning how to make my own lye soap.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, and
there
it's
you are.
just,
Okay.
like back in the day, though, it used to be, we used to can a lot more. We
Mhm.
even preserved water. We'd put water in bottles and stuff and save it, old whiskey bottles that we'd clean out that were glass. We'd store
Mhm.
water that way. And, we'd make our own soups out of the vegetables out of our garden that we grew. It just seems to me like we have gotten so dependent upon these stores that just seem to open up their
Mhm.
doors at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m., whatever. And, they make it look good. It's all about the advertising and the way it's addressed to the public to entice them to buy it. And, that's one of the reasons I'm kind of glad that um, Kennedy is in with the Food and Drug Administration, where he's going to be able to get rid of a lot of this crap in the food, especially the dyes and the chemicals that cause cancer and all that, and cause dementia and Parkinson's, and all these diseases that we never used to freaking have before we started
Mhm.
buying all these canned goods from stores and stuff with preservatives and stuffs in them and dyes. We never had, we have the occasional, flu breakout or something along that lines, but we never had these diseases. So I don't know. It's just how I feel. I don't buy luxury items anymore.
Yeah, I wish I'd learned how to can when Mom was still around. But I didn't, so I've got to try to learn on my own. But I was like, with all this crap that's in these soaps and shampoos that causes, all kinds of different problems. Hey, Tim, I'm like, man, I'm going to start making my own lye soap. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
just I'm gonna go back to that, and I mean just a little bit here and a little bit there to start adding more and more and more, and doing more. It's like try to be more self-sustaining. Get away from some of this crap. But I'm glad that RFK. Hey, Kimmo Dad. And I'm glad that
Hey, Kim.
RFK is going in and fix a lot of this bullshit because there's a lot of stuff we have in this country that other countries. Morning, Gemini. Won't
Mm-hmm.
even buy
Gemini.
because of the shit that's.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's amazing to me that we don't have more of these diseases because of it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, the subject that we were going to start out with today, other than my going off about groceries and all that, was lake monsters. And you know,
Or are you going to get down?
there's quite a few of them that are seen around the world, all the way from like Japan, China, Russia. The UK has them, Ireland, Scotland, Canada, or Canuckville, and of course the good old US of A. I mean, and they're seeing something that's described as this. Okay. For the most part, it's this kind of a description they're saying. Okay.
Ooh.
Which is a plesiosaur. Now you've got in Canada, you've got Ogopogo, you got Chessie, you got Champ from Lake Champlain. You know, you got the Lake Erie monster. I'll bet you nobody knows about that one. Lake Erie actually has its own monster, sea monster in it. You know, and there's several other locations around the United States that say that there's lake monsters. I know one of them is Glacier National Park. Another one is Lake Ilion in Alaska. So you know they're seen all over the place, and I can't help but think maybe just maybe what we're seeing is something that is undiscovered. Something that possibly could have mutated or could have been somewhere living, existing somewhere else. Or it could be just a large snake or a large gator, you know? I don't know. What do you think?
Man, yeah, there's some things that can be explained as a natural, school fish or something like that, but there's some things that can't. Jim and I said she's seen the Erie monster.
Mm-hmm.
So, but there's, some things. Look at all this what they're calling evolution of these creatures they're finding in the Marianas Trench right now, saying, "Oh, they evolved because of this volcano stuff." I'm looking at stuff going, "That's straight alien looking stuff right there." Is this some of the aliens that we're seeing that's diving into the ocean? Is that what we're looking at? Straight up crap from science fiction. You see in all these weird, B type science fiction movies, and all of a sudden, bam, we're getting videos of this stuff in the bottom of the trench.
Exactly.
With all this supposed evolution.
Yep. I often wondered too, though, with my theories with how the Earth is actually shaped and stuff. Because I'm sorry, guys, I'm just not given 100% sold on the Earth being a globe, because I've always been taught that water seeks the least resistance, and if we were on a globe, no matter how much you have gravity wise, water would leak. I'm sorry, it just would. So it's just simple dynamics, but I am at that point where I believe that science is coming around saying maybe it is more football shaped or egg shaped, and that makes a lot more sense to me, being more egg shaped or football shaped than it does a globe. It just does to me. And when you think about all the underwater cave systems and stuff that we have that have water in them, you could think that possibly something from the prehistoric era could have survived from any type of meteorite strike, or any natural disaster, for that matter.
Smoke.
So, and people are seeing dinosaurs more and more lately too, though. So why not lake monsters?
Well, and that's the thing is that is something I've always fought with ever since I was in grade school. I was like, it makes absolutely zero freaking sense that an asteroid destroyed all the dinosaurs on this earth. If that was the case, we wouldn't have whales, we wouldn't have sharks, giraffes, elephants, horses, alligators, crocodiles, turtles. The list goes on of all these different things that lived at the same time that the dinosaurs did. If an asteroid had destroyed this, it wouldn't have been there. We wouldn't have them. But yet we have them.
Well, here's a perfect example of what I mean by and this is just and this is just my opinion, guys. Okay, this doesn't mean that my opinion makes it the way it is. It's just how I perceive it. Okay, take for instance, the Jersey Devil. Okay, and that whole rigmarole about Mother Leeds' 13th child and how she cursed it to let it be the devil, and
Mhm.
the husband wasn't around at the time, and apparently it turned into the devil and all this. And an old rickety high roof dark type of a home in the middle of the of the Pine Barrens, back in those days. um you know I don't think the Jersey Devil is something that is supernatural. I think it's a heightened hysteria, in specifically that one tale. And I think people have latched onto it, and then people's imaginations grow with that fear. Okay, but at the same time, you've got to look that there are documented cases of the old sailing ships coming here in the 17 and 1600s to supply colonialists with supplies from all around the world, especially Africa. And there were reports of hammerhead bats that stole away on the merchandise. And when they opened the
Mhm.
crates, the hammerhead bats would escape into the environment. Okay. Now, why couldn't the Jersey Devil be a hammerhead bat? If anybody's ever seen a hammerhead bat, it's exactly what the Jersey Devil is described as. It's giant.
Mhm.
It's got a 3 to 4 foot wingspan, and it literally looks like it has a horse's head. So, it's a
Mhm.
big bat chase, big bat chase me.
Mhm.
What do you think, man?
Yep. Well, I mean that's definitely possible. I'm not a flat earther. And I kind of agree with what Camo Dad said. Let me get back up here. I believe the Earth is, correct in egg shape, which is something I've always said for years. But it's more honeycombed. Not like the depth of people are trying to say, but it is honeycombed, which is a place to hide things. Could stuff have survived? That these you know cosmic destructions that come from the heavens. Yeah, I mean by hiding in these honeycomb caverns. Yeah, could there be stuff that went deeper in the oceans to survive? Yeah, I believe in all that. I mean, is stuff. Look at how many things has been extinct. Well, mainstream science says it's been extinct, and these people from these lands that ain't touched by Western knowledge has come to say, man, no, we eat them things all the time. They're a delicacy. I mean, we're finding this stuff all the time. I mean, they were up in the 80s. Eskimos were eating mammoth steaks. And we were told that mammoths were extinct, but they're like, no, right here. They come in with a fresh tusk. They'd come in, not the one that's been stuck in the permafrost. I'm talking about a fresh tusk to sell. I mean,
So
these meats. I mean,
let me
uh,
ask you this though, Eric, and everybody in the chat. Do you believe that these lake monsters that everybody's seeing could come, in fact, from underground cave systems or river systems or even underground seas, and lakes? Um,
mhm, I think so.
there's so many of them.
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, and I've never heard of the hammerhead bat before, so I've got to look into that thing. But I believe that things are misidentified all the time. I mean, it's human, especially when fear is involved. Um, Things get misidentified all the time. Hey, Corey, I did my research on hammerhead bat when my best friend had the winged gremlin encounter. They are pretty crazy. Look, I need to look into that. In fact, I've never heard that before. Um,
I'm gonna show you one right now.
Oops. There it is. Okay.
Let me see here. I need to bring that picture up. Come on. Come on, little buddy. No, I don't want that. Copy image. Wait a minute. Copy and save images.
But so
Okay, let me see.
I mean, I definitely think it's possible. One of our favorite subjects is dogman and werewolf. I believe a lot of that stuff has been misidentified as one or the other. Claiming that one is they call them two different names when they're the same thing. Just one's magically created, and one's natural born. Whenever your mind only sees one thing, because that's what your mind associates with it on something new that you don't understand, it's going to go to whatever you know, and bam, that's where you get this from.
Okay, I got to find that picture, so give me a second.
Not a problem. Yeah, I mean it's like when you look at let's see here. You look at if you're familiar with dire wolves and how big they are, and then all of a sudden you find a wolf that's larger than most wolves, but it's just a common wolf. Your mind, when you see that, going, "Oh my God, that's a dire wolf." When in all actuality, it's just a larger than normal wolf. Things like that happen all the time. I mean, I showed a great picture one time of Paradola from my tree stand. You can look out there and see something. It looked just like fucking Bigfoot. I mean, look just like Bigfoot. And I shared it on here. I said, "What do you guys see right here?" And I pointed it, and I was like, "Oh, Bigfoot, yeah." It was a freaking shadow. In certain situations, your mind can play tricks on you. I mean, so I believe some things are misidentified, some things are not. So, and then I believe there's things out there we just absolutely don't know exist because we were never told it.
Yeah,
it's kept from
we
us
have
for
no
whatever
idea what
reason.
can exist. I mean, look at the giant spiders that they see all the time in the Congo. I mean, they're talking about these 6-foot diameter spiders, that look like tarantulas. I mean, it's very possible, very, very possible. Okay.
Well, they're
Let me
even
see
talking
here.
about actual frost spiders being real, which is giant spiders that live in the cold. I mean, these things are just like the ones they're finding in the Congo. They're freaking huge.
Yep. And speaking of the Congo spider, I'm going to pop up a picture here.
Yeah.
I'll let you see this while I'm looking for the other picture. Trying to still find a hammerhead bat. And there's what I'm talking about.
Man, that looks like a freaking I forgot the name of the little asshole type spiders, brown recluses. Damn.
But that's literally the size comparison from the spiders that are described size-wise to the humans in Africa. That's literally, so that means, you can be eaten. You can definitely be a meal for that spider.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Just thought that
and
would
the
be a
frost,
little interesting.
those frost spiders are the same as that, but they're just a different color and they live in a colder climate. So I mean, we're finding all this stuff out that's supposed to be. Good morning, Twisted. Supposed to be, all science fiction, and they're actually real. These things
Right,
are.
exactly.
Amy's like, no, nope. Oh, we got a new member. Scott's a new member. Thank you, Scott.
Awesome. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that. I'm still trying to get that picture to upload.
Kimba Dad's like, burn it down. I'm not a spider or much of a snake guy. They say the Congo spider's big to make huge webs. People get caught in them. Yeah, I mean, I can see that. Tim, I don't think there's enough raid on the planet for one of those. I mean, we're having to break out the 450 SOCOM, 458 SOCOM, take one of them bad boys out. Big spider will get big eating tooth. Yeah, now the spider thing. Yeah, I mean they're popping up all over around the world about these gigantic spiders. I mean, it's becoming more and more popular.
Okay, Windows C. All right. Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Trying to get caught up on the comments, man. This is great. Comments are flying in here. I think I'm caught up now. Yeah, there is. There's a few videos talking about them. Yeah. Yeah, blowtorch twisted. Yeah, flamethrower. Yeah, we're going to have to break out the Zippos from World War II that used to be wore on the back. I mean, in Vietnam. I mean, you get to fighting one of those things. You know, I need to get back and play some more of that Skyrim that I like to play, dealing with them frost giants, get my sword play back up and going. You know?
Right.
Yeah, we're caught, man. Yeah, man. Just think, you know, it's so you know how fast small spiders run. So put this in perspective. This is me and how my brain works. Because now I'm thinking, okay, we know how fast small spiders run. Imagine how fast them big bastards run. I mean, wow. Roxanne had a wolf spider. I can see that.
It won't let me freaking pull that picture up. I don't know what the problem is. Let me see here. It's got to be.
I want a YouTube video. Hint, hint, YouTube. Is there a way to send it to me? See if I can get it to do it. I might be able to just screen share it.
That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to do that here. Let me see here. Come on. My computer's so slow right now. I got so much junk on it. Oh, come on. Good God. Okay. And of course, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to do it a different way. I'm going to go to my phone and do it. Hold on a second.
No worries. So, I mean, now curiosity's killed the cat on this while you're looking at it. I got to look up this sit still, boy. You're going to have to get down. Hammerhead bat.
Oh, come on.
You know, I got one on mine twisted and mine's still lagging, and I've got pretty much everything on that bad boy. Oh, there you go. Here's a hammerhead bat, y'all.
Yeah, there you go.
Screen.
Come on, phone.
Is that the one you're talking
about? Yep, that's it. That's the hammerhead bat. Now, they say that it can get up to 4 feet wingspan. And just think about those things being, I mean, look at the one the guy's holding up there. Just have to remove that comment.
Mm-hmm. Damn, that's a big boy.
So, you know, could that be what they're seeing in the Pine Barrens? You know, especially if it's, you know, bred with another type of bat, maybe a a fruit bat, the flying foxes that they see,
Mhm.
I could see something like that mutating, into what's being described as the Jersey Devil, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of fits that quite a bit, man. Wow, that is a freaky looking dude. What's this? I got to figure. I don't have to look into it. What's this diet? You can see it's the largest bat in continental Africa with wingspans approaching of 3.3 feet, and males are almost twice as heavy as females. Hmm. Um, Males being significantly larger females. Males range in a mass of 22 G to 450 G, averaging. Wow. Yeah, that's just like, dude, what kind of science project went wrong here? I mean, how did you mate a horse and a bat to create that? That is one toga
Exactly.
party I don't want to go to.
Exactly.
There was a lot of bad stuff passed around at that party. Oh, wow. Yeah. No, I mean, I see what you get. And yeah, I mean, seeing the picture of that, um,
Makes you think.
yeah.
Makes you think of what's
Oh,
more could be out there that we really don't know that exists. I mean, we just recently
yeah.
discovered the billy ape. And they're called lion killers for a reason. They
Yeah.
actually go and kill lions, full grown lions, and eat them.
Yeah.
So if a billy ape can do that, you can't deny the fact that there could be a Sasquatch walking around the woods. You know,
Oh, man,
um,
dude. Yeah.
it's just amazing to think, and they're finding new species every day, especially insects. They find a new couple species of insect every freaking day of the year. So, you're talking anywhere from 600 to 700 and some insects a year, they're finding that are new. Um,
Hmm.
it's absolutely, astonishing the discoveries that we're still making to this day because of all the land and all the water that we haven't explored, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that's literally the truth. We have not explored enough of this world to figure out what else is here. We really haven't.
No. That was the other thing I was trying to think of, Daryl. Thank you. Yes, a kangaroo bat. That's what I was trying to think of earlier. I was like, dude, that thing's just
Now
freaky
look
as
up a
hell.
flying fox. Look up the size of a flying fox, and you see if a flying fox actually could mate with that African bat, the hammerhead. Think about how big their
Mhm.
offspring would be, fully grown. Because some of them flying foxes are literally as big as a fox with wings. That's why they're called flying foxes.
Uh, yes, mega bats, which is were among the largest bats in the world. They are commonly known as a fruit bats or flying foxes. Among the oh, that don't tell me the size. The body length of about 16 inches. So not quite a foot and a half.
And that's
Dang
just
it,
the body.
freaking
And there
yeah.
have been there's bats in captivity in Cincinnati Zoo in Ohio, that are bigger, about twice as big as what they say is a normal size. It depends on their diet
Mm.
and how they're taken care of, and what their environment
Well,
is.
Just like most animals in the wild, man, it depends on how much food they eat, depends on how big they get.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, that's a very common occurrence in the wild.
Yep.
Yes, they did. Effective. That's where the movie Congo came from, Roxanne. Was off that idea. They're talking about training them to fight people, and then that's where the whole concept that movie Congo came from. Dude, I mean,
so I mean, why couldn't there be an undiscovered species in the lakes and in all that and in the oceans? I mean, it would make sense to me that something like this would exist in the ocean or in deep freshwater lakes that have access to underwater streams and rivers and underground lakes. I mean, it is what it is.
Oh yeah. I mean, definitely. I mean, you can't rule that out. I mean, I'm a firm believer. I mean, there's so many plesiosaurs. I looked at Malocalibimbe. It's a freaking dinosaur too. I mean, it's a river monster. It attacks other creatures on the river, people and boats on the river all the time. Okay, Jay. Yeah, I believe that megalodons still exist. There's too many sightings of things happening to suggest that they don't, and they're talking way too much about this type of stuff for it not to exist. We all know it is a proven fact that if they talk about something way too much, eventually it's called soft disclosure, and they come out going, "Hey, by the way, we were wrong." Here's your Billy ape. Right here.
Yep.
Look at the size of these things.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean it's amazing what we don't know is part of our. Man, why is my mouse going? My mouse has got a brain of its own now.
Mine's been doing that too. Crown.
It's like somebody else is trying to control it. Look at this.
Flying fox. Oh yeah, look at that big. Dude, that's prehistoric right there.
So you can't tell me that there's species out there that can't get gigantism and okay, thanks Corey. I'll have to look at that.
Yeah. Now here's the Twisted asked me to pull up the giant golden crown flying fox. This is a beast. Look at the size of this dude.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine a gat getting with a hammerhead. Holy crap.
Yep. Exactly. And
Teacher says AI doesn't want you snooping.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah. AI and I don't get along at all, trust me. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me that we have species that are just we're seeing regularly, but when they're spotted, I mean, how many people are going to have the sense to grab their cell phone and hit record for video or even snap a picture? I mean, it's not like we're prepared 24/7 to whip our phone out and take a picture, or have a camera with us everywhere we go. I mean, it's gotten to the point. Yeah, everybody's got these cell phones and stuff, and the capability of doing that. But how many people actually look up from their phone? In order to see what's in front of them? Not very many. So, there could be things out here that we really have no even idea that exist with us, literally. It's amazing if you think about it.
Yeah. AAA to bring that thing down. Dude, yeah. And we know crossbreeding happens, what is the closest thing we can get to the saber-toothed species of felines that we used to have? Is a freaking liger. A tiger, which lion and tigers are technically they're the same animal. They just evolved differently to fit their environments when the continent split up. That's why they can become a liger.
Look at two different species of bear. Two different species of bear. You got the polar bear and the grizzly bear. They mated.
Exact same thing. Yeah, they're the exact same thing, just a little bit different because of the environments that they're in.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, this stuff happens all the time. This is nothing new. So, I mean, something like, this dude here getting with one of them hammerheads, genetically, they're bats.
That'd be frightening.
It's very, it's very well possible that could happen.
Yeah. You could see something like that being the Jersey Devil. You really can.
Yeah. Yep. Let me pull this up real quick. I got it in my external now. Corey was talking about that picture he sent.
Let me pull that up.
Do you got? Yeah, because I'm going through my external hard drive right now. I got to remember where I put that at in there. I've been trying to move everything to my external hard drive to try to free up my freaking. There we go, Corey Cole, right there. Okay, where's it at? Right there. Got it.
You got it? Okay.
Right there. Yes, Roxanne, wolf and coyote. Yep. Yeah, look at that big bad boy right there that Corey captured on his camera.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. It's very possible that we could have a species of giant bat in this country that we have no idea of. It really is. And it could be because of the days back in the 16th and 1700s, when the ships were sailing here, that these bats snuck on board the verified cargo, the freight. And when it was offloaded, they escaped into the environment. It's very, very possible. And the genetic makeup of certain bats, like you saw with that golden flying fox, they're huge. They are literally huge. So, the hammerhead bat, and a flying fox, that could not be that far off of a interspecies mixing. So I'm just putting it out there, there is something to be said about folklore and about legends. Okay. You know that with my being Native American. Okay. Legends are based on fact. Okay. I don't care what percentage you say it is. It's still based on fact. It's based on eyewitness accounts. Okay. And it's passed down through oral tradition, through generation and generation. And the story may get exaggerated every now and then, but not most often. Pretty much Native people are going to keep it plain and simple, okay, because there's a point to it. But my whole thing is, if Mother Leeds cursed her kid and say this bat was hiding in the dark rafters, in the shadows and stuff, in the dark ceiling of their house, them not knowing that it's there, because it's not gonna, maneuver around when there's candlelit, devices and lanterns, lit up to lighten up the room, because bats don't like daylight. So it said that she had her child in the evening. Okay. You're going to have the soft glow of maybe a couple candles, and that's it. That soft glow of the candles and that bat being up in the rafters and flying down and swooping down and scaring everybody could make that bat 3 or 4 times bigger than what it seemed. You know what I mean? So, at the same time she cursed it, or cursed the baby, I think that and this is just my gut instinct, okay, when it comes to this legend,
Mhm.
this it's kind of ironic that in those days, a lot of the settlers that were in America had brought the old folklores with them from wherever country they came from to start a new life here. So they're going to hold true to their supernatural beliefs, their superstitions, and stuff like that. Just like up and down the Appalachian Trail, you have
Mhm.
your Irish and your German and your Polish communities and all that are up and down the whole Appalachian Trail, and each part of the trail has a different kind of almost mystique, mystery about it because of their cultural legends and beliefs coming here with them. So,
Mhm.
you have all kinds of weird stuff that happens. Um, but in those days, think about it. Mother Leeds had 12 children at the time, and she was pregnant with her 13th. If that child
Mhm.
died of natural causes, wouldn't it make more sense to create a story that is almost unbelievable, um, to explain why the child is not there? Because a lot of
Mhm.
times in those days, they would go and they would bury a family member in the area of where they lived, you know, and basically not have to report it to anybody. I mean, reporting
Mhm.
deceased people didn't start happening until the early 1900s. you know. Otherwise, you just
Yep.
call a doctor and tell them, so and so died, and the doctor would come out and just fill out a piece of paper and say, okay, they're deceased. They died from this, and give the people the paper, and that's it. And then the people bury him, or her or whatever.
Mhm.
What if that was the case with Mother Leeds? What if she had a miscarriage and didn't want to explain the child's death to her husband, who possibly could be the type of guy, since he wasn't around all the time, could have been a ruffian, if you know what I mean. So it would make more sense to for her to make some outlandish, outrageous claim of something supernatural happening because she basically cursed the baby, when in
Yeah.
actuality the baby probably died prematurely, and she was trying to keep that fact from her husband and her other kids.
Mhm.
So,
You know, I was thinking of something on your sea serpents. Look how many times throughout cultures, even Native American cultures, where they have water spirits. This is Ogopogo.
mhm.
Okay, this is a picture of Ogopogo. That looks so much like the water serpents that we hear about in Native American lore and around all these other countries around the world. Could that be what we're actually seeing? Is of course, to Native Americans, a dinosaur in the water would be known as a water serpent.
Well,
Could
the
this
the
be what
thing of
they
it
were
is,
seeing?
if that was a traditional serpent, like a snake, like a water moccasin, a water snake is not going to
Mm-hmm.
go up and down horizontally in the water. It's going to go
Mm-hmm.
side to side. Okay.
Yeah.
Like this picture here, you're not going to see the body of the serpent going out of the water. Maybe the head,
Mm.
but not the body. A snake travels
Right.
differently in water and on sand than a say like a plesiosaur would. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Most undiscovered lake species phenomena that we're finding as far as lake monsters go, they're always shown undulating up and down in the water. Okay,
Right.
like they're trying to keep motivation going so they can keep going in a direction, whereas snakes would go like a sidewinder, would go side to side, in order to swim. um the the Anaconda does that. They go side to side. They're going to go
Mm-hmm.
like this, like a regular snake would. Um, land snakes do that too. That's how land snakes go. So it would make sense to me if that was a sea serpent without legs and all that and without fins, it would go more side to side than it would up and down. Up and down is more like something with fins and a tail. Okay.
Right.
So
But
that's just,
you know,
that's just my opinion.
what I was trying to get at was, a lot of times when they see something that's very, it's whole of your mind takes in the concept of what it knows. So if they didn't know about these types of dinosaurs with fins, they just see something long and slender like that. Well, what's the closest thing to it? Well, a serpent,
Yeah.
a snake. And I'm
And
wondering
then
if
you've
that's
got
where this may have happened.
and then that you kind of reference that with this, okay, with this
Yeah.
type of a description, where it just has the two dorsal fins on it, or I mean the two side fins on it, and then a long tail. You know, it could be something described like this with only two fins, and it would need to
Mm-hmm.
have that up and down motion in order to get it going in the water, because those two little fins are not going to be able enough to propel that big object through the water, especially if it's going against the motion of the water, the current. Okay. So that tail, that long tail that it has, is going to go up and down to compensate for the fins doing this in the water. You see what I'm saying? So it could be an undiscovered species of dinosaur that we're talking about.
Yeah, I believe you're right. I mean, that's a damn good possibility, and you'd be a fool to keep that out of the prospects of that stuff. I mean, we just don't know enough about these things to know, to say one way or the other. We all got theories and probabilities, and you have to put, if a probability fits the description, you have to keep that probability in there. Now, there's probabilities that's way, I mean, just completely way out in left field somewhere. I'm sorry,
Mm-hmm.
you can't put that in there. But I mean, a probability like you have to put that in there. Um, Chitty was talking about um, a named rogue, uh, also known as the red fox. It's a devil, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he was asking if we heard about it, which is, let me get an image of this thing here.
Okay.
Um, it's pretty much this thing here. It's the red dwarf of Detroit. Yeah, it's Cajun. The Nain Rue is Cajun for red dwarf. So it's pretty much a devil.
Yeah, I mean, and that could be very much what Mother Leeds saw too.
Hmm.
But at this point in time, we can't rule anything out. I just thought that it would make more sense, logically wise. And there I go thinking logically. I should never do that. I should just think out of the box all the time. That when certain species sneak on board the old freighters and stuff back in the 16 and 1700s and even the 1800s, it just makes sense that those species are going to escape into our environment here. And the only thing they're going to do, if because there's going to be more than one of them, so if they escape in pairs, they're going to respawn. They're going to spawn more and more, and they're going to grow their population. So, and the effects of them intermixing with another type of bat or something is very, very logical. So that's
Yeah.
the reason I brought that up. Um, but the whole thing with
Uh,
the lake monsters and stuff and the sea monsters,
mm,
I'm just a firm believer, and it's only my opinion, that if you're going to have something that's going up and down in the water, it's going to have at least two fins and a long tail. Whereas a regular snake, like an anaconda, is going to go side to side. It's going to move like a regular snake side to side in the water to swim. We see it with water moccasins all the time. Just watch a water moccasin. You'll learn a lot from that, you know? It makes sense to me. If something is going to come up and out of the water and look like inner tubes, you know, multiple inner tube tires, you know, floating in the water, spaced apart, it's going to be something that needs that motion in order to kick itself, propel itself forward. So it just makes sense to me that it wouldn't be a serpent. It would be more like an undiscovered species of dinosaur.
Yeah. Yeah, it's yeah, I mean it's definitely there. Definitely in the realm of possibility. I can't dispute it one bit. I mean, things get misidentified all the time, so I mean you have to factor that in. I mean, look at that ranger that was it last week or week before that supposedly shot Bigfoot, and had come to find out it was an escaped gorilla. It had reached in their car, snagged his lunchbox, and growled at him, and it took off, and he shot him through his car, and would never go back on the mountain because he swore to God it was Bigfoot and it tried to kill him. They went back up there and found the bodies, and it was like for some reason an untagged escaped gorilla. Or
and it happens.
Yeah,
it happens all the time. I remember growing up that one of the local zoos, and I mean local, I mean within like, I don't know, 30, 50 miles maybe from where we lived. One of the local zoos in the middle of the wintertime reported 2 polar bears escaping. And, I remember them doing a lockdown in place, at that time until they could find the polar bears. They eventually the story never came back up to say whether they got the bears or not. So is there a possibility that there is a great white bear or a certain type of a bear that's not brown or black? Maybe it's like an off color, like a gray, that has basically genetically modified itself through, mutation over time. Yeah, it possibly could be, who's to say, it really is. There's so many possibilities that could make wonders for us to even comprehend what exists out there. It's amazing if you think about it. If you can keep your mind from not getting too over analyzing things, you know what I mean, and just open your mind up to the concept that it could happen. If they never found those 2 polar bears and they were a male and a female, what's going to happen? They're going to intermix with other species of bears, or, once the originals die off, their offspring is going to, and it's going to create a different type of a bear, a hybrid bear, which could be the reason there are reported on the Appalachian Trail, reasons that people believe that there's a giant bear on the Appalachian Trail, and there's been reports of this bear being seen. So I don't know.
Now look at the reports of the short-faced bear that's being spotted again. Which, if you look at a short-faced bear looks like just a taller version of a grizz with a shorter face. Could that be where grizz comes from? We know that polar bear and grizz are the same thing. They do crossbreed. They do create offspring. Is this are they the remnants of the short-faced bear? Because if you actually put them in the scale side by side, your short-faced bear is taller, then there's the polar, then there's the grizz. It's all about location. But there's tons and tons and tons and tons of reports coming out of these short-faced bears still being around. They're still running into these things. The Lord knows
Just like there's
what's out
reports
there.
of this, there's still reports of woolly mammoth being in Alaska.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
we can't deny that those possibilities exist. We really can't.
Yeah. No, I mean, Louis Lamar, one of my favorite authors, his very first Sackett book called Sackett Land. In the ending of that book, he tell Sackett, or not tell Sackett, oh man, I forgot his name. Anyways, he unalived a woolly mammoth that charged him. And that was in the US. And that was in Louis Lamar's book. You know?
Makes you wonder.
Yeah.
What about the history of dragons? You know, what's to say that couldn't have been a water dragon that's, you know, not ungulating like a serpent would, more like a lizard, you know? Maybe it's a dragon, a water dragon. Maybe that's what people called a water dragon back then when they saw it,
Yeah.
you know? You know, the possibilities are endless when you think about it. So, you know, and then when you get on the whole dragon subject, there was a couple cattlemen that were in, I think it was Arizona, as a matter of fact. It was either Arizona or New Mexico, were in the 1800s, and they were retrieving, you know, the cattle that wandered off from the herd. And this thing flew down out of the sky at them, and they described it as a winged lizard, kind of like a dragon. Okay. And it literally picked up one of the cattle and flew off with it a distance away, like, you know, several hundred yards away. And these guys went to see. They couldn't believe that they saw what they saw. So these two guys went to go see. You know, they fired at it with their 30-30s, but they didn't think they hit it. And they went to and looked over this ledge and watched this thing devour the cattle, the one cow that it had gotten. And they described it as a winged lizard, like a dragon. Okay. And apparently the one guy got up and started shooting at it with his 30-30 out of fear, I guess. And they both, you know, ran back towards their horses. And the second guy looked back to see where his buddy was. And this winged creature had his buddy and his horse in its talons flying away. So in other words, his buddy got eaten, the one that shot at him. So, you know, I mean, the possibilities of these things existing are very, very, it's possible, you know, lake monsters, dragons, you know, whatever you want to call them, these reptilian type creatures that live in water, that come up and down horizontally and swim, have a long tail. They need that tail to motivate them to push through the current of the water, okay, or the resistance of the water, especially if they only have the two fins, you know, like that picture I showed you. You know, and then you think about the water dragons, you know, throughout, you know, Asian culture talks about the water dragons a lot. Maybe, just maybe, it was a legitimate thing to be described as a water dragon. Maybe it was an undiscovered species that looked like that picture that you had there of Ogopogo coming in and out of the water with the humps. You know, maybe that's what they're seeing.
Another famous one is Jormungandr from Norse mythology, the offspring between Angrboda and Loki. You know, the one that unalives Thor at the end after Thor unalives him. He lets out a toxic gas, which, you know, causes the demise of Thor. You know, hey, hunting bear. That's another one. It's a water serpent. It's known as the Midgard serpent, Jormungandr. I mean, it's the Midgard serpent, and it encircles the earth, and when it shakes and moves, it causes tsunamis and earthquakes and stuff like this. They're yet another one from a different race of people talking about a very similar thing.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, just the possibilities alone, it's amazing when you think about it. We don't have these legends of lake monsters and sea serpents for no reason. And they have been spotted all over the globe, all over the world. You know, that there's
Mm-hmm.
either it's an undiscovered species of dinosaur, or it's I hate to say it, it's something that science and high officials of government agencies have kept from us finding out about them because they probably know about it. So, it's either or.
Yeah. Um, I'm trying to see a good old Norse depiction of Jormungandr. Huh.
Yeah, it just makes sense to me that if you're going to have something like this in the water, it's going to propel itself going with its tail in an up and
Yeah.
down motion like this, just to kind of give it that extra push through the resistance of the water that it's trying to swim through. And that
Yep.
very well could have been described as a water dragon. It very well could have been.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It just makes sense to me because snakes in
Here's
the water are going to act like snakes do.
here's a old Norse depiction of Jormungandr. Very serpent looking. It's got the horns. This was Thor fishing for him using an ox head from a Jotunar's ox. Whenever he fought and battled him out in the middle of the deepest, most dangerous waters. And but this is the Norse depiction of Jormungandr. You can see a hand, the head, the teeth, the horn. Very similar to
Which,
what we've been talking about. Huh?
yeah, which is pretty much what a water dragon is described as. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know. We'll see what everybody's saying in the chat, though.
Yeah, Deidre. I mean, yeah. I mean, there's we've got things from our mythology, from cultures all around the world, including what freaking humans. I mean, I'm sorry, us humans are the most destructive and corrupt things on the freaking planet. Lord knows what our bizarre little wicked minds would come up with. You
Yep,
know.
exactly, exactly.
So
Well, I'm out of coffee, man.
Ursa says the government has crossed human DNA with every creature we know of, and plant as well. I mean, yeah. I mean, hey, Jessica. Jessica's in the chat. Um, you know,
Hey,
um,
Jessica.
that's why I wrote that book, the Vangerian Guard book. One's a House of Battle, because of what the Nazis was doing during World War II. They were literally creating super soldiers that was half human, half animal. Which this one was based off of the German werewolves. And used to be, you can find plenty of diaries and journals from Allied soldiers, from even German soldiers, talked about how these werewolves would come onto a battlefield, transform, and all of a sudden now you've got this giant werewolf coming at you, and you can't stop them. They were trying to create minotaurs I mean, and that's probably what book two's going of the Vangerian Guard's going to be about. Is probably right now. I've already got the name figured out as Vangerian Guard Book Two, Horns of Death, where they're taking the aurochs and human DNA and creating a minotaur. I've already got that figured out. I haven't started the book because I've got other stuff I'm working on. But this is stuff that humans have been doing for generations. I mean, nothing new.
Okay, Urso's rubbing it in. They got a fresh pot of Colombian coffee. They're rubbing it in.
I'm actually drinking a new kind. I've actually switched to Death Wish, and I'm drinking the berry vanilla one. Damn, this thing is good.
I went through a whole pot already, so I should be okay for at least an hour. I don't know.
Deidre, I believe you're right. I mean, I believe that, I mean, as long as humans has been on the planet, I mean, we can go from the same theory as the Anunnaki, if you believe that the Anunnakis who created humans, what do? They took their DNA mixed with the DNA of things on this planet to create us. Once again, there's gene splicing going on. I mean, throughout all different ancient histories, you hear these deities or these people that's cross genetically, modifying things.
And usually they're described as demigods.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Think about it. The Minotaur, that was described as a demigod. So.
Yeah, I mean, this is stuff that goes on, So is this why we're getting some of this bizarre stuff? Yeah, I mean, some of these water serpents we're seeing, are they the last remnants of dinosaurs? Absolutely. Could they be something else entirely that they don't want to put out? That's just in our ancestral legends. Absolutely. I mean, it very well could be both or one or the other. I mean, let's face the facts. That's just how it is.
Exactly.
Could our government be creating these things as weapons? Every single government is trying to get an upper hand of the other government. They're always constantly creating. I mean, they're already talking about a new super soldier program for us now. They've got a new thing out that can literally create brand new super soldiers in our own government right now. They're working on it right now.
Yeah, they've already had that though.
They have. I'm talking about it. Yeah.
If you think about the whole robotics aspect of it, I mean that in itself is amazing because, well, I mean I've got the video to prove its existence, so.
Yeah, Deidre. Yeah. But yeah, they have been for a while. Hey, Poncho. But I'm talking about they've got a brand new one that they're coming out with. It's supposed to be better than anything else they've ever done. Super soldier programs has been going on since the dawn of time. Since humans decided I want to be the biggest, baddest bully on the block, super soldier programs have been happening.
Yeah.
Rhonda says, please keep my grandma in your thoughts and prayers that she crosses over gently. I don't think she'll be here for Easter. She's 93. Oh, I hate hearing that, Rhonda.
Definitely, Rhonda. We'll pray for her.
Yeah. Poncho says, don't make me pull his truck over type of joke. You ain't got enough hair on your gonads. Jessica says Israel News put out a video of a couple of years ago reporting on super soldier chimeras. Yes, I remember that. Yes, in our military. Yeah. Yeah, Jessica, you're right. Yeah, I remember hearing about that. So I mean, is this where we're getting some of these things that Jersey Devil or this or that? Is this where some of this is definitely a possibility because we know this is what governments around the world are doing all the time. You know, when
Well, I look
Project
at you got to look
Paperclip,
at the timeline. You have to look at the timeline of things because in order for us to say that the Jersey Devil is a genetic experiment done by the government, I think that the timeline for it is off because I don't think that they would have the capability back and then to do something like that. Do they have the capability today to do that? Yes, most definitely. Since the 1980s, they have had the capability of doing it. I know that for a fact when I was in the military. Um,
mhm,
yeah, I mean
well,
it's there's been a definite 90% increase in super soldier programs. Um, are they genetically manipulating hybrid animals just like the hieroglyphics in Egypt? Half dog, half man, half eagle, half man, half snake, half man, half gator, half man. I mean, it very well could be. But in order to
mm,
gene splice, you have got to have that common link to make it work. And if you don't find that common key to make two different gene species connect together, it won't work.
mhm,
Maybe some of these things are the rejects of what they tried to do. Maybe these are the
mhm.
rejects that have escaped. That could be.
Yeah, I was using Jersey Devil as a reference because I couldn't think of a more modern one. But we know that the Germans were doing it. And that was in the
Yep.
40s. You know, but like I said, throughout time, you hear all different kinds of stuff through our ancient ancestors, everything of gene splicing going on. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I was
And I
just
mean
using
it's
Jersey
very
Devil to
well true.
like pop
The Anunnaki.
shit.
Yeah, the Anunnaki were known for that. So yeah, it very well could have happened back in those days. I'm not saying that it couldn't. I'm just saying that it would be kind of hard for our governments to do it. But could a race like the Anunnaki do it, or even the Egyptians? They probably could,
Yeah,
because they were a lot more knowledgeable than we are today on things.
they
They
had
very
better
well could have
technology.
done.
I mean,
Yeah,
seriously,
exactly.
they did. Jessica
Yep.
says back in 1920s, the equivalent of the CIA had a scientist working on human animal hybrids under the Billy Whack dairy um, in California. Dairy in California, there are goatmen still sighted to this day. Yeah, I mean, there you go. That's another one. I mean, and like I was saying before, look at Project Paperclip and what they brought over. You know, this stuff is just,
Well,
it's not
here's another one too. Here's another one to think about. Since she's talking California, I'm going to throw this out there, Jessica. What about the Rebob? What about the Napa Rebobs? Napa Valley, California. What if something like that could be described as the Jersey Devil? It very well could be.
Oh, that is straight out of freaking Wizard of Oz.
Yep.
There you go. I mean, yeah.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah. I forgot about the Rebob. I'm glad you said something. That's why I had to pop it up and look at it to get my brain back to working again. Dude, there, yeah. I mean, we got straight up Wizard and Oz crap going on. I mean, California is just California. My God.
California is weird.
That's putting it lightly, bro. That is YouTube friendly version of California. Oh my God,
Uh,
man. Yeah, the flying monkeys of Napa Valley. Yeah, okay.
yep.
Ursula says Project Odessa was the Nazi scientists and others through the Vatican to secure countries for um, reintegration
Reintegration.
in society. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh God, yeah, yeah. I mean, okay. Says fresh squeezed grape wine squeezed by the flyingest monkeys. Heck yeah,
Makes you
man.
wonder what you're drinking in those wine bottles.
Yeah, just goes. Yes, we have weird combos like the Snallygaster and the Appalachians. Oh God, I mean Wampus cat. Wampus cat is known in the Appalachians just like they are here in the Ozarks too. And if you look at it, it's a six-legged cougar. If you actually look at the descriptions of a Wampus cat, it's a six-legged cougar. But we have them here in the Ozarks just like you
That
do in the
thing,
Appalachians. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff.
yeah, the Wampus cat was actually spotted not very far from where we live, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
let me see. Let me see if I can pull this up.
I know. I don't. A lot of
There's a
my pictures.
snallygaster.
Yeah,
That's what it's described as.
yeah.
That's what a snallygaster looks like, folks. Watch out.
That's straight down. Oh, I don't know what I'd do if I
That's
seen something
straight
like that coming
demonic.
after me. Yeah,
I'm sorry, but I'd be screaming, demon.
yeah. You want to just turn your just to live. Yeah, I mean bounty. Yeah, I'd agree. Like here's your Wampus cat right here. 2, 4, yeah, six-legged cougar. There's a Wampus cat. You know, when I did the shows on the when I did the shows on the Ozark, mountains and the magic of the Ozark Mountains, this was one of them. I mean, it's yes, it comes from Appalachians, but even here in the Ozark Mountains, we have the Wampus cat. You know, there's all kinds of stuff here. It's is it Smokies, Kyle? I thought it was the Appalachians. I could be wrong.
The Wampus cat's in the Appalachians.
That's what I thought. Okay. And Octa's face dragon. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, I
Ursa
think that
says,
picture, I think the description of the snallygaster is exaggerated because it might have probably had a dead animal in its mouth. I could picture the body
mm-hmm.
of a raccoon or something, or even a
Yeah.
snake. Maybe it had a snake in its mouth that it was trying to eat at the time. Would be just showing that
Mm-hmm.
description of the octopus looking type around the bill, because there is a bill in that picture, but you had to look for it. There is a bill inside that, so it could have
Oh
been
yeah,
a
yeah.
couple snakes that it had in its mouth at the time when they described it. But yeah, it very well could be like a pterodactyl type of a creature, which is what we've been talking about, man. Dinosaurs are not extinct, so definitely
Mm-hmm.
not extinct.
Or the Kelpie. The Kelpie ain't the Kelpie like a water horse, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it looks
It's
like
pulling up a dog.
a seahorse. It looks like a seahorse, basically, but wicked.
That's what I was
A
thinking.
wicked seahorse.
That's what I was thinking, but it keeps pulling up all these dogs. I'm like, I don't want a dog. Oh, there it is. Found it. Right there. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Kelpie. Yeah. Jitty. Yeah, yeah, that's what I was thinking. It was something like that there. So I wanted to make sure I was thinking right. Yeah, I mean, there's yet again another water creature. Oh,
Yep.
moonshine
It's
coffee sure
amazing
wakes
when you
up a
think
dude.
about the possibilities.
Yeah,
Well, I'm getting to that point where I'm
but
starting to run out of energy, guys. So
yeah,
I
no.
still haven't
I
taken
mean, I agree with you. I agree with you on the misidentification of the of that snallygaster. I think it probably was eating something. You're right. I could see the bill in it. That stuff. I mean, it happens all the time. I mean, and
Yeah.
that's the thing. You know, like yesterday, prime example. Last night, I was when I was walking out to the woodshed. I had my flashlight in my hand. Whenever you went live, and I was like, "Oh crap, I'm late." I thought I still had 30 minutes. I had to pause for a minute because I kept seeing this eye shine coming back at me, and I'm like, "Shit, I ain't got my cell phone." And this thing's tall. It's not no normal four-legged animal. And I'm stopping. I'm looking at this eye shine coming back at me, and then it dawns on me. It was a reflection from my mirror of my motorcycle. I mean, that stuff happens in them situations. I mean, it happens to everybody. So,
Exactly. Exactly. Yep. And we're gonna perceive what our mind wants us to perceive, because
yeah.
our brain is a computer, whether we believe it or not. It's gonna
Hmm.
formulate stuff just like a computer does. It's gonna give you the nearest possibility to what you're seeing. It's not going to give you an exact description. It's going to
Hmm.
relate it to something that that's in the files in the back of your brain. Um,
Hmm.
so we have to take that in consideration. That does not mean that what people are seeing isn't really happening. That means that sometimes with adrenaline rushes and hysteria and fear, that all plays a big role in our interpretation of what we're visually seeing. But you can't take away from the legends, the culture legends around the world, because people are seeing these things all the time, and there's got to be a reason for it. So, and hopefully
Yeah.
one day we can figure out just what a sea monster or a lake monster is. Is it
Yeah.
a missing dinosaur species? Is it a you know like from the Norse legends? You know, is it an undiscovered species of whale that has the dorsal fins but has like a snake or a horse head
Hmm.
face on it? Um, is it a kelpie? You can't dispute that. Some of these sightings of these lake monsters are described of having a horse's head. And that's what
Hmm.
a kelpie is described as having a horse's head. So I mean,
Could it be?
maybe it is an
Could be a
undiscovered
gigantic.
species. So
Yeah. It very well could be a gigantic seahorse. We got giants and all other species. Why can't we have a giant seahorse?
exactly,
Food for
exactly.
thought. You know.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to get ready to shut this down, everybody. Eric, you want to go ahead? I'm going to go ahead and tell everybody Wednesday night at 11:59 p.m. Eastern. Myself and Ryan will be coming on Midnight Monsters. But that's the only podcast after today I'm going to have this week. So I've got to go deep diving into a couple things that I'm working on, and I just don't want to have any outside interference or things to deter me from doing the investigations and research. But this Wednesday at 11:59 p.m. Eastern, and be myself and Ryan, my good little brother Ryan. You all know him, and then we'll be coming back on probably. Well, depending on how quick I can get this stuff researched and done, we might come back on Saturday and Sunday morning, okay, for the show, for the paranormal coffee talk show, okay. Um, you'll know. I'll have it. I'll make an announcement if we do, okay. But yeah, it depends on what I find out with what I'm working on right now. So,
Okay.
and honestly, I can only devote so much time with everything else I'm doing. I literally, when I fall asleep, my brain hurts. That's how bad it is. So
Yeah.
doing this research is not easy. It's not easy in any ways means. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
know that.
I'm diving deep into the whole virus thing again, and I'm going down those paths that certain three-letter agencies don't want you to go, and so if I don't come back on after Wednesday night, something happened. Anyways, that's what I got
You
going
are not
on.
you are not
Yeah,
suicidal. You plan on living 50 more years.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
so yeah,
yeah.
I got campfire chats tonight, and I will show a little bit of some more evidence that I caught from the part two of which I will be re-releasing part one of the paranormal investigation of the Springfield Commercial Club. I had to take it down and add more to it because part two was knocking on 4 hours or 3 hours long, over 3 hours long. So I had to take a section from that. So part one is going to be straight, just the first two initial EVPs of upstairs and downstairs of that building. So I will be re-releasing that here soon. But I will show a little bit of stuff I captured during that investigation tonight. As usual, it's just this campfire chats is for you guys. It's for you to come in, talk about your encounters. If you want to come on live, they'll bring you on live. If you just want to talk about it in chats, we'll talk about it in chats. But it's a safe place for you to share your encounters. So that'll be tonight at 5 o'clock Central Standard Time. Uh, Tomorrow we're going to dive into shapeshifters, mainly focusing on the werewolf side of it, with the Ulfanar and the Skinwalkers and all these others from all around the world that has the very same similarity and of stuff going on that people there's got to be some kind of truth to it. I mean, there really has to be.
All right.
Uh, and which I'm actually just got an idea, kind of because I know you're busy, of who I can ask to join me tomorrow night. I'll have to ask them here in a little bit when we get off. Hey, Griff. Griff is my first and only right now NIR reader on my Patreon. And he's giving me some really good feedback on the book that I'm almost done with called Beast of the Ozarks, book one, First Kill. Um, and he's been helpful. So if you're interested in being a NIR reader, go to my Patreon. It's $10 a month. You get first access to all my books. I want your feedback on these books and how I'm doing the storyline. So that's available. Oh, perfect, Griff. Thank you, buddy. But I, oops. Um, so yeah, I mean he's been helpful. I've bounced ideas off of him, let him look at it and give me his feedback. That's what the NIR program is, and that's on my Patreon. Um, so that's pretty much what I got going on. Beans, I goofed off yesterday after finishing finishing up the last of the part two of the paranormal investigation. I've got to hit the book heavy today. I'm working on chapter 13 now. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell for me.
Thank you, girl with a gong. Thank you very
Yeah.
much. That means a lot to me. We try our best to get you guys, the information, and sometimes there's just not enough time during because I do most of my research at night when it's quiet. I can't, I just can't do it during the day. Um, so I do it mostly at night. And sometimes it's very, very trying. And there's so many people that have been inundating me with questions and stuff and concerns about certain things that they're experiencing, and I got to devote some time to that too. So that's why I'm kind of taking a little bit of time off this week. But we probably will come back on for Saturday morning, but unless something urgent happens, um, it looks like currently right now we're just going to do the Wednesday night one, Midnight Monsters, okay, with me and Ryan. Ryan would be a good one for your show tomorrow, Eric, just so you know. If you
That's
want to know
another
about
person.
Shapeshifters, I recommend Ryan
Ooh,
highly.
I can get Ryan and a certain other person too. If I can get both of them on, that'd be a great panel for this subject.
Yeah. So that would be, an exceptional show too. So maybe him and Jessica or DA, or somebody, somebody along that
Yeah.
lines.
Well, I was
If I'm
actually thinking. I was
if I'm
actually thinking.
available, if I'm available, I'll let you know. But
Yeah.
this stuff, the places I'm going to find this information is areas of the computer that you don't want to really go to. They talk about the dark web all the time and stuff, and so we'll see what happens. And it'll make for a good podcast when I get done with all the research. So, but Wednesday night we'll see everybody at for Midnight Monsters with me and Ryan, and then possibly a Saturday morning and Sunday morning show, depending on what I find out. And if I have internet, God knows, some of these dark rabbit holes we go down are companies that control certain aspects of our lives, and if they choose to, they can shut them down in a moment's notice. So, but it is what it is. We have to fight the darkness and the evil. So, thank you to all the moderators today. You guys are fantastic. Everybody in the chat, you guys are family. Never forget that. You guys mean a lot to us, and your opinions and your insight into these subjects matter. Okay, don't let anybody tell you they don't, because they do matter. Okay, we get some of our best suggestions for research and all that, and investigating some of these things that we're encountering right from the chat. Certain alleys to go down and investigate. So don't ever assume that just because you're in the chat, you're not being a part of the show, because you guys are. You guys are definitely part of the show. So without you guys, we wouldn't have it. And the research wouldn't be half as good as it is. So thank you all for that. That means a lot to me, and it means a lot to Eric, and it means a lot to, I'm sure, Jessica, and everybody else that has these kind of podcasts. So don't ever think you don't matter, because you do. So with that being said, question everything. I know I say it all the time, but we have to. Okay. Everybody have a great rest of your Saturday, and we'll see you all Wednesday night. Okay. Take care, everybody.
Good night. Peace, love, and blessings, everyone.